Oh, just saying I just went live. Okay. So I may need to start over again. Hi, I'm Dr. Kapiotis, and I'm here on behalf of the Front Royal Women's Resource Center, having another woman gathering, and I'm very excited to welcome our guest tonight, Daven Lee from Santa Fe, and she's coming live from somewhere in New Mexico, Dallas. And so welcome, Daven.
Thank you, Eka. I'm thrilled to be here.
So we're just going to dive in because you are a priestess of the yin, and your thing is the power of the yin. So can you talk a little bit about the power of the yin?
Yes, thank you for asking. And that's my secret name gone public now. It's getting out slowly.
Yeah.
And really what that's about is wanting to be a spokesperson for the power of the feminine, which is the yin. And of course, it's not just associated with women, but we as women, of course, that's our natural native energy. And we live in a culture that doesn't really value that energy. It doesn't value the subtle, doesn't value the intuitive, it doesn't value natural cycles, the internal, the liminal, that place where a transition is happening, but we don't know where we're going to end up, that disorienting, dark place we can be in. And yet there is so much power to being able to move in those realms comfortably, being able to own them, being able to know when it's time to really embrace those times like a season. And of course, the yin exists in relationship to the yang, its necessary polarity that it dances with, that it is relative to. There is no yin without the yang. And the yang is just as necessary as the yin. But they harmonize each other. So these are Daoist understandings. You can't have one without the other. A drop of one may help the other become even more true and more vibrant. So we don't exist in a vacuum as the yin or as the yang. And one of the other qualities of the yin that I feel I want to be a spokeswoman for, something that the Daoists understood, which is that the yin is the source and the return. Everything is born from the yin, and when we die, we return to the yin. And the yang energy, active energy, outward energy, manifestation, has to come from a root in the yin. And when we try to manifest or act without that root, we become burned out. We don't really have energy to sustain ourselves. And as women trying to function in a world that's really dominated by yang energy and that really appreciates and cultivates and compliments you for your yang energy, we get sick. Our bodies get broken. We get hurt because we can't actually, nobody can function that way, including somebody whose native energy is yang. So my work is about remembering the yin, cultivating it, and really giving it its due, bringing it back to its rightful place, if you will.
Well, and I just love your description so far, because sometimes when I'm talking with clients, I talk about, how in our culture we think of, time marches on and progress is made in a steady path, and that's that, and so any back step it's a back step. It's not like part of a cycle. And I think when you're talking about the yin, you're really talking about something that moves in a very different. In fact, I've heard you talk about it as a bowl, right?
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Mm-hmm, Can you say a little bit more about the qualities of the yin specifically?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're talking about time, the yin doesn't care about linear time.
Yes. Wouldn't that be great? We're all kind of getting a lesson in that right now. Everybody's sense of time is really messed up.
Yeah. I mean, this is a real yin time. This is the liminal, where we don't know, we can't go back. We don't know what's coming. And we're in this weird in-between place. And it tends to be very uncomfortable. And it is a real fertile, it's a place of deep fertility. It is a place of deep creation. And we may not know what's being created right now, but if we allow ourselves to go there and relax into it, I mean, relax into the flow, into the movement of, this is the movement of the Tao that the Daoists talk about, and allow it to work on us, and be patient with the not knowing. So, you know, when you're talking about time, and the perfect example is childbirth, you know, like how many contractions, how far apart. Childbirth doesn't conform to that. I mean, that's the yin. That's the essence of the yin. And we have a lot of problems when we try to attach those kinds of controls. And another image that I love to talk about, so the water element in the Taoist 5 elements is a yin element. And the power of the yin is, if you think about the river that created the Grand Canyon and the amount of time that took. And that is the view of time that the yin has. And when the yin has that perspective of time, well, then it becomes the most powerful element of all, because it is outlasting everything. And it has the patience to outlast it. It has the perspective to outlast it. So to me, that just even that teaching of the yin helps us to be more comfortable in a liminal space. We understand that this is a phase, this is a season, it will shift. We might even feel the intimations of the shifting before it's here. But we can relax into it. And that makes us very powerful because we're not prone to reactions. We're not prone to the latest, news that's coming across. We're holding a much bigger, deeper space. That's very powerful.
Oh, that is really powerful. I love
and then
that.
And then from that deep space, we can sense when it's time to act, when it's time to move into the yang. And then it's sharp and clear and direct, and it is pointed, it's specific, and it's effective. And then we return back. So,
my goodness, wouldn't things be different if we didn't try to force ourselves into the to-do list of these things have to get done, but let ourselves move into a more fluid, feminine kind of time that actually gets everything done, but does it in a very different way. I just love what you're describing.
Thank you.
It feels so delicious and right, you know?
Well, and what's interesting, yes, thank you. I mean, it's relieving. Like, what a relief. And I think for many women to be validated in that instinct of, can we just slow down? Can we allow space? Can we listen? Can we not know the answer until the answer is really clear? Now, the danger of the yin is that we are so fluid that we never manifest, that we never make a decision, that we never move into action, that we can't keep a schedule. And again, we need both. We need to know when we need to pull ourselves together, regardless of what's happening, and make something happen. And when we can relax and really refund, renew ourselves, replenish ourselves. But we tend to be on overdrive the other way around.
Yes, I think our culture is more currently based that way. Maybe it always has been, but so we could definitely benefit from allowing ourselves to, especially during this, profound pause time. I mean, now granted, I know there are a lot of women who now not only have to work from home, but also teach children and have duties that maybe other people were helping them out with before. So I know this is not true for everyone. But for those of us who can, allowing ourselves to experience this pause and really drop into it. You know, what you're saying makes so much sense in that way, because it's, in fact, the way that you're talking about it, it sounds like instead of doing just make anything happen, it's like then the right action becomes obvious.
Yes. And it's so efficient. So, you know, one of my tools in my toolbox as a yin priestess is Qigong. And the practice of Qigong is about conserving and cultivating energy and not leaking energy, not leaking your qi. And that idea of leaking, you know, the opposite of that is that that idea of right timing and the right amount of energy to complete what you want to complete.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are just throwing energy at anything we can because we don't know what else to do, we're depleting ourselves. We're depleting our kidneys. We're becoming adrenal deficient. We're exhausted. We get sick. You know, we have a chronic illness, or we're vulnerable. Our immune systems are vulnerable. I mean, that's another, you know, lesson of this time. When we're feeling vulnerable, our immune systems are feeling vulnerable. We need to really protect our chi.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start moving through the world with that idea, for women, I mean, this is a huge topic. This could be about boundaries. You know, women have a hard time with boundaries. And I guess I just want to say, for those women that are working from home, caring for children, you know, maxed out, that at least to understand that why that's so depleting, to understand how that's going against your nature, if you relate to the yin, is validating to know. And then hopefully, even in small ways, you can begin to create some space where you let yourself be in the yin, you know.
Do you have like a couple little suggestions for ways that women can take a 5-minute yin pause?
The yin break?
Yeah, yin break.
5 minutes is short, especially if you're exhausted. You'll probably just fall asleep. But
I mean,
well, actually, I do have
like having a cup of tea or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a suggestion, which is to practice relaxing. And by relaxing, I mean trusting and letting go of the outcome. And asking for, opening yourself to assistance and your willingness to partner with that larger assistance. So one of the dangers of being in a yang state, or trying to keep up with a yang lifestyle or energy or culture, is this idea that we do it all ourselves. So, you know, earlier I talked about how the yin has to, or the yang, the active, the masculine, has to have a root in the yin. The yin is the unknown. The yin is the spiritual. The yin is the infinite energy and possibilities that are available to all of us in the universe. If you think you have to do it all yourself, then you're yang and you're cut off from that root. You're cut off from that resource. You know, think about roots going down into this, you know, fertile, wet, moist, deep soil. You know, and then there's flowers popping all over the place. You can't do it without that fertile, you know, nourishment.
Yeah.
So for those of us who are overwhelmed, or in any moment of overwhelm, of course, using the breath, of course, you know, trying to find a moment of stillness, whether you're taking a bath or taking a walk or shutting the door, you know, and setting a 5-minute timer. But there's a practice of learning to, I mean, it's just like they say in AA, you know, like giving over, surrendering, that I'm not in control of this, and show me what my part is. And then over time, that practice can help you, again, like use your chi more judiciously. Like, wow, you know, I mean, just anything. Like, I don't need to overdo this thing right now. Can I do less here? Can I let this go? Yes. Can I
Well,
be open to help in this way? Yes. However it comes.
and it's kind of fascinating that you're saying that, because as we're going from a very young energy in our country to, shelter at home, and the only safe place to be is in nature. I love that.
Yeah, right.
Then what I've noticed among my friends and myself is that there's been this movement to get rid of what's not important anymore. So many
Yeah.
people are letting go of, this is no longer serving me, either by cleaning their home or changing their work, something about their work or their relationships. So as you're saying that, I'm just thinking of the very practical essence of how that works. Here we are, and we're changing we're changing what's in our container.
Yes, yes, yes. Lightening up.
Lightening up.
All those things take our chi. If you
Yes.
think of your chi, your life force energy, that is your most precious resource.
Mm.
That's the gift that you were given at your conception. That moment when the sperm and the egg came together, that big bang of your life, that chi is the chi that lasts you for your life.
Wow.
And that chi also contains the code of your destiny. What are you here to manifest? And the more you're bogged down with folding every piece of laundry just right, or taking care of somebody who's draining your chi, or running another errand that really might not be necessary, whatever it is, or pursuing a path that really is not going anywhere, you're draining that chi. And, all these things are necessary for us to understand what our path is. We have to kind of bump up against things that don't work, but we have to listen. When they don't work, we need to pay attention.
Yeah.
We need to learn.
Yes. So true.
And that's where the listening comes in.
Yeah.
That's where the intuition and the being able to be quiet and drop down and really understand the messages. This is the yin, the deep listening.
Okay.
Moving out of the busyness, coming into the body, which is always right on, as we both know.
As we both know. It is so true. Well, speaking of listening and learning, you were going to teach us a Qigong form that you developed. I'm
Yes.
I have no idea what's going to happen. All I know is that I'm going to do what you told me to do.
Okay, great. I didn't develop it. I received it from a teacher that I studied with, but I've really, this is my primary practice form. And we're debuting it today under a new name, which is the Eagle Woman form. It is a form that touches, I think, all the archetypes of the feminine. So it is a quintessential feminine form. And let's stand up and do it.
Okay. I'm going to move over here. I'm hoping that you can still see me when I'm
going to back up quite a bit so you can see as much of my body as possible. So this is a complex form, and if you were in a class, of course, we would go through some simpler Qigong if you've never done Qigong before, but we're just going to dive right in together, you and everybody else who's joining us.
Yes.
So just step the feet apart. You can be a little bit wider than hip width. You're going to have your knees soft. Right. So already you're probably feeling that connection to the earth. See if you can open the soles of your feet. And we're dropping our chi, we're dropping our energy down. So we're rooting into the earth. We're becoming grounded. In general, when we practice, we think of the yin field beginning, the yin energetic field, beginning at about the level of the waistline and below. And rising above it is the yang field.
Okay.
And behind us is the yin, and in front of us is the yang. Eagle Woman Qigong. Let me know when you're ready, Eka.
Well, I'm hoping you can see enough of me, but actually the important person to see is you. So
okay, but I want you to be ready.
Okay.
You're my primary practitioner at the moment, so.
Yeah.
So just let the arms float up, as if you have threads attached to the backs of your wrists. The palms are soft but sensitive and intelligent. You just pause here, just palpating, as if you could actually feel the beginning of the density of the yin field below.
I can really feel it.
Great.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And the tailbone is dropped, so we're not overarching in the back or over tucking in the tailbone. And now let the hands rise, and then they're going to sink down deep into the yin. And the backs of the hands come together as if grabbing hold of a very deep, thick root. This is the root of you. And you draw it up, and as you draw it up, it becomes lighter and lighter until you reach the heart and the arms begin to open. Now they don't open above the head, they open at about the level of the third eye or above the brow. And the gaze is up and innocent. Here are your eagle wings opening. And then we sink in the legs and draw the arms together. The elbows are leading. The left elbow comes underneath the right. We close inward. This is secretive, deeply internal. This is a place only you know. And then the arms, the elbows become sharp. The hands become strong. We open and the hands push. And you sink in the legs, gazing straight ahead, strong, clear, not angry, but there's a very clear message here. And then the chin lifts, the breasts lift, the hands turn. This is coy, this is flirtatious. We come into a forward bow. Now let the knees be soft. I'm going to turn to the side. The hands are going to wing behind, the palms turn up, and then drag the backs of the hands up the buttocks, through the kidneys, through the armpits, sink the pelvis, sink the yoni towards the earth, and dig down. So now we're digging deep into the mud to bring something from the yin up. I'm going to turn forward again. We're offering this to the heavens, to the yang, as a gift. We release it into the yang field, and then the hands gently rake down as if receiving a blessing from the yang, or rain coming down, coming through our bodies. This is where we feel each aspect of our feminine form. And now the arms open. Again, this is a wing-like movement. From the womb, from the pelvis, from our sexual center, our creative center. And then the hands spiral in into soft fists right at the level of the ovaries. Knees soft, shoulders drop. This is called women's power stance. So we'll do the form again. Now we release it soft, like feathers from the palms of our hands sink. All the archetypes of the feminine. This core of you rising blooming at the heart. This opening, like your heart opening, eyes wide, innocent, body open, and then sink the legs. Now we draw everything in. I think of this as the wise old Chinese woman full of secrets. And then sharp elbows, wide hands. This moment is like clearing the way, clearing any impediments. It can also be protective, fierce, but then it melts as if you're greeting a lover. You bow, the buttocks flare. We're not shy about the sexual identities of the feminine. Drag the chi from the buttocks, up through the kidneys, through the armpits, sink. Now I can go deep, but even if you can't move physically deep, let the chi move deep. I often think this is like birthing a baby that becomes our offering. That baby becomes lighter and lighter until it releases to the heavens. And then we receive this blessing, feel the rain, the blessing come down across the crown of the head, your face, your throat, your heart, your breasts, your solar plexus, your belly, your sexual center. And then we expand that. But notice how the hands, the arms stay contained. There's that place where we don't leak this chi. We're cultivating it, and then we gather it back to its source, the ovaries, our creative eggs literally inside of us. We'll do it one last time. And as we move through the form, feel the power of the eagle. It's a huge bird, an incredible wingspan. It flies high, it has this incredible expanse and perspective, looking down on the earth. Coming into mystery, closing the wings around you. Strong arms, no anger, but clarity, unmistakable. No harm shall come, none shall pass here. And then the utter surrender, which is such an important expression of the yin. It's powerful to surrender at just the right moment. It means we're not working against something that is wasting our chi. It's depleting our chi. This is deep. This is dark. This is the Kali energy, life, death, blood. This is our gift from the feminine, to be able to stand and see and be with death and destruction side by side with birth and new life. And here's this beautiful relationship with the yang, receiving the blessing of heaven all the way through our bodies. And then just like a bird, just like an eagle, protecting the eggs in her nest. Eagle woman Qigong. Release the hands. Just circle the arms and come back to Dantian, which is the low belly. The left hand is under the right. Belly, just between the belly button and the pubic crest. So we're bringing this power right into our bellies, and just choose a foot to release from your stance. And Eka, let's just bow to each other, and I bow to all of you out there. Thank you for practicing with me.
Thank you for leading us in practice. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Wow. So beautiful.
How was that for you?
Well, I mean, I was amazed at how many things I could feel. Like I could feel, when we first started, I could feel that density you were talking about, and I could feel myself pulling the energy up and showering down. And I love, even though it was a little hard for me, I love that sharp. And then that, I can't wait to watch this video again and try it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and also, as far as the physicality goes, again, like I'm moving pretty deep into the physicality. You don't have to. You can come however you are physically, but it's the aspect that you're doing it with.
Mm-hmm.
So you're closing the shutters, you're gathering the curtains around you, you're going in deep. However far you go physically is not as important.
So it's really the intention of the movement.
The intention guides the energy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So, and that didn't take very long.
No.
But it feels like, boy, I feel quite different. Like there's a clarity. I feel a clarity that I didn't feel before, which these days I could use. Clarity is
clarity. I really use this form to reconnect with my center. If I feel off center, if I don't know what to do. So it connects me to my inner sense.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely helps me feel powerful. So, if I'm feeling disoriented, it helps me remember that I'm powerful, by which I mean I have agency. I'm not just being tossed about by circumstance, and it's like, okay, I'm going to get this thing out of my way. Or maybe it's like, I'm going to say no. Or maybe it helps me accept something beautifully and release it. Or, be comfortable with something dark that I need to express in the world, that needs to be heard. Or, it's like, it's a, I don't even know what I want to say about it. It helps us go through a journey and find.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not practiced it. I know that you offered on your Facebook page, give you a little plug, The Power of the Yin, your group, that you did, you offered for 2 weeks, every day, a daily one. So anybody that would like to can go back to your page and have you walk them through.
Yes.
So really beautiful. I mean, I guess I'm stunned at how potent they are. And like, you don't really have to break a sweat.
Oh, no. Although you might, just because the chi it can sometimes be hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is not an aerobic, activity.
And it's not hard. It's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And modifications can be made. The forms, you could do this form in a chair. Again, it really is about the intention. The yi is what it's called in Qigong practice. It's about the intention guiding the energy. So
I mean, our time is like flown by.
Yes.
And I could definitely keep talking with you about this for a lot longer. But is there anything, so just to wrap things up for now, because people can definitely stay in touch with you through your many ways that you'll get to say, and it'll also be included in a link on the women's resource page.
Great.
Is there anything that you'd really like to make sure that women take home with them from this?
Oh. Just as I began, from where we began, I want to call women especially back to the yin as their native power. This is the place where we're comfortable. This is the place where we're centered from. This is the place where we're powerful from. And it does not mean that we don't move in the world in a yang way when we need to. And it's healing to come back to the yin energy. And I just want to inspire women to listen to the inner voice, to pay attention to their sensitivities, to be the moon is our yin symbol, is our yin planet.
Okay.
She is synonymous with the feminine and the yin, and she's magnetic. She doesn't reach down and move the ocean back and forth. She just is, and the ocean responds. That's power. Yeah, and that's power. It's a very different kind of power than yang, hammering with a nail, which we need sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it can be surprising how much power we can have from that yin place. And again, like, we're not exhausting our kidneys. We're not pulling from our deepest sources of chi and drying ourselves out, emptying the well. We can come from a place of fullness, the fullness of the moon, and the moon is reflecting the light of the sun. She doesn't even have to generate light to be spectacular. She uses somebody else's light. She lets the sun burn itself. The sun loves itself, loves to burn, but we don't need to burn. We can just, I can use this and it becomes me, it enhances me. So, explore that, play with that.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daven.
Thank you, Eka.
So they can find you on davenlee.com, right? L-E-E.
And I do have the Power of the Yin. I have a private Facebook group, which is where those videos from the 14 Days of Simple Qigong are and can still be seen. I love to work with women one-on-one to really help them connect to their feminine power so that they can express their gifts that they came here to express, to really express that destiny, manifest that destiny.
And you have such an amazing gift for doing that. You do.
Thank you. Well, we're all on the path together.
So, and there also will be links, but I want to just thank you and to say to people, those of you who are continuing to watch us, that you are wrapping up for us 4 months of really looking at feminine energy and embodying the female. And what does it mean to really own our female energy? And I just love that you are the final guest in this little series, because you're talking about the quintessential essence of women and how important it is for us as women to embody it, and how we get ill when we're not. We create dis-ease in our bodies when we don't honor that. And it is a challenge. So I'm just so grateful that there are people like you on the planet that are here and ready to help women move through this. So thank you so much.
People like us. And I do have one more thing to plug, which is that you and I have all kinds of plans for offerings we're going to do together.
We do.
It may take place online or in person, whichever we can do first.
Yes, yes.
So you and I have a particular magic to bring out. So you all can keep your eyes out for that too.
Thank you. And the Women's Resource Center will be continuing also with, we will be continuing to do WomanGatherings this year, and also other programs that the Women's Resource Center offers will be continuing, and they'll begin to roll out as it gets clear, what format and things we'll be doing. So thank you again so much, Daven, and thank all of you who are listening, and thanks so much to Jennifer Avery. Are you going to come in and say hi? Our videographer, technology expert.
Hi! I'm not video worthy.
And also to the Front Royal Women's Resource Center for making these things possible. So thank you all. Be safe. Take care. And embody your male. The world needs your feminine energy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.